to do on a call with you. Let's have fun looking at the hero attributes, all of it, explaining it by one go. The CP, what is that?
Irrelevant mostly. So combat power is a calculation based on different stats of your hero. For example, your broken armor will raise it more than attack will, and armor will raise it more than crit resist will. But the thing is, those sorts of stats are still important. Whereas skill damage, for example, that isn't useful on, like, effectively useful on any hero except 3 of them, it will add a lot more CP than any of the other stats will. And that's why I say it is irrelevant, because skill damage is an artificial inflator where it's actually less useful than most of the other stats for most heroes.
I see. So the CP is just an overall calculation of everything, kinda, with additions that don't actually do much for you in battle or make a difference, a huge difference that you can see. Okay.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. HP, of course, is your health bar. That is exactly what's drained in any battle. That's how you die fast. The damage, the health bar. Nothing there, I guess. That's it.
Not really. Yeah, you can increase that. For some heroes, they base their attacks off of HP. That's not very many though. So most heroes will base their attacks off attack. So even Thinker bases his attacks off attack, whereas heroes like you will base it off HP.
Okay, understand. You're talking about his trigger, right? Pretty much when his HP goes down, reduction, and then the action will be taken. Yeah, he's a unique hero. The Emperor.
Yeah.
Okay. Armor, pretty much your armor that will help in reducing the damage you take. That's it.
That's right. So I believe the current calculation is that for every 10,000 armor, it's 10% damage reduction, which isn't the same as damage immune.
Speed is the ability to take action and attack, and the higher the speed number, that pretty much will be the hero who goes first in the lineups, or your lineup,
yes,
pretty much.
So speed determines the order in which your team and their team attacks. So if you had a 200 speed thinker and they had a 128 speed thinker, yours is going first. That being said, if there are 2 heroes that are the same speed, the one in the lower positioning goes first. So if you have a 133 Toku in position 6 and someone else has a 133 Toku but it's in position 4, yours will go first.
So the backliners, if both parties are using the same hero, the hero who's faster in the backliner will attack first, right?
So no, if they're the same speed, so after speed comes positioning.
Okay, so same speed, and then same hero, and then same backliners, and then number 5 and 6. Who would go first?
So 6 would go first.
Why not 5? Why not 5?
I don't know, I didn't make the game.
I know. I'm just amazed. That point is weird. Okay, so the numbering wouldn't matter in that point. What matters... the numbering wouldn't matter.
In that instance is positioning, yeah.
Reverse, actually. Okay. I guess that's one of the reasons why in Galaxy Wanted, Toku goes in number 6 sometimes and number 3. Also to protect her from damage?
Yeah.
Okay. What if they're both at number 6? Yeah. What would
then
be...
it's 50-50.
Randomized. Okay.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's a Western standoff. That's a good way of explaining it. The faster in taking action randomly by the system can shoot the other and destroy them. Okay. Critical, I always explain it as the ability to land a critical hit, and when you land those, the damage can increase that you do That's it.
Yeah, so crit is the chance of hitting a critical hit. So if you have 0% crit and 80% crit damage, that's not going to do anything because you have a 0% chance to get a crit hit. Same as if you had like a 100% crit chance and you had 0% crit damage, what's the point? Because a crit hit's not going to do any more damage anyway.
Makes sense. Critical resistance, of course, would be the resistance of the same attribute, but vice versa, the opposite side when you're attacked.
So someone, ideally, if they were to face your Toku, would want to have at least 138.5% crit.
Okay. Okay. Next, the critical damage. That's pretty much when you actually land the critical, the percentage of increase or the number of increase of to that how much damage will be increased, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. Fantastic. And then, of course, the critical damage resistance is the vice versa when that's done to you, how much you can reduce from that damage.
Exactly. So if your crit damage resistance is higher than their crit damage, their critical hit's not going to do anything. So it'll still give the animation as if it's a critical hit, but it won't actually give any more damage than a standard hit would have.
Okay, so the higher the critical damage resistance versus the opponent with critical damage, but it's lower than the critical damage resistance for the hero, then it will not land the critical, or it will not cause additional damage.
Yeah, it won't cause additional damage. It'll still cause a critical hit. That critical hit just won't do anything.
Good to know. So, do you build up your critical damage resistance?
Of course.
Of course. You go to the Union Institute? Good place?
Union Institute, armor, digs, all of the little bits and pieces that can add it. I have the treasure.
Damage. You already said it is a useless, kinda. Pretty much from my perspective, skill damage is when the hero uses his special skill, filling up his energy bar and attacking.
Yep, so skill damage is only applicable to the one that uses that energy, so the ultimate or the ulti. That being said, it is only, because of how it's calculated, it's only more effective than things like broken armor and crit damage when the multiplier of attack for that specific skill is lower than 200%. And for the vast majority of heroes, that is not the case.
Cough. Yeah, I'm guessing you're looking at it from a perspective it doesn't give that much of an addition or boost, but it does give something.
I'm looking at it from the perspective of you'd be better off with broken armor.
Okay. Harsh reality. No problem. Okay, so holy damage pretty much that's related to, I guess, the god heroes, right?
Yeah, holy damage, only god heroes have it. It's like, you know how Chloris ignores everything. So she has true damage, which ignores armor, it ignores broken armor, it ignores all of those things. Holy damage is a lot like that. And yeah, only god heroes have it.
Of course, they're holy.
Yeah.
God heroes, yeah. Okay, and then effective hit. Effective hit is the efficiency of landing a CC?
Yeah, so effect hit is the chance to land an effect. So Twine from Eve, Stun from Zeus,
Medusa.
Shackle from Darkness, all of those things are effects, and basically effect hit is the chance to hit with them.
So pretty much you're saying if someone is going after the stun direction, raising the effective hit, for instance, for Rockefeller, will help him in actually landing more effective stuns and when counteracting.
Yes.
Makes sense why he sucks. Okay, and I'm guessing effective resistance is the resistance of being affected by an effect like petrification, charm, twining, etc., etc.
Yes.
Okay, sounds good. Let's not do anything related to Rockefeller.
Okay.
So you have hit and then dodge. Hit and miss.
Yeah. So dodge is the ability to just, not get hit. And hit is the counter
Ability to
that.
hit?
So, so dodge, you'll find wings has it. So it has that evasion thing that pops up. That's what dodge is.
Yeah,
where they just flat out don't get hit because, I don't know, they miss. So hit is the counter to that. So if you had someone with wings, like you were against someone with wings, you'd want someone with a high hit rate. But you don't come across that very often, and wings can only be used twice now, so it's not really something you can build. That being said, it's not really something you can get in a stat either.
True. It's only from effects of artifact or something. Yes, panda, and he looks the emoji of panda death. Yeah, so pretty much increasing his dodge is the evasion text that shows where he doesn't get hit. It's yeah, that's why he's thrown in number 1 as a meat shield, because he can keep trying to evade getting hit, and it's built in his kit, his skill, his technique of running away.
Yeah.
So dodge would be evasion, and hit would be the counter of that. Increasing it will allow you to hit who has dodge. Pretty much.
Yeah, pretty much.
Pretty
To
much.
stop them from dodging.
You bad panda. Go back to Kung Fu Panda number 4 coming up. Stop with the hit and the dodge. Okay. Accuracy. Sounds very important.
Accuracy is the counter to block. So block is the ability to negate 30% damage. So in this case, Panda has a 44% chance to negate 30% damage of something that's hit him. So accuracy is the counter to that. So if your accuracy was higher than block, he's not going to be able to block, and he's going to take all the damage.
Ah, that makes sense. High level of accuracy, not the highest, but still high, 86%. So that will pretty much stop heroes. Stop heroes that are actually less in block in 86%, so they would take the full damage.
Yeah, exactly.
I guess that covers accuracy and block. So block is the ability to reduce the damage taken by 30% with a chance that comes out of the percentage, which is 40 or more. And then accuracy is the ability to land the full damage regardless, going against block and reduction, the 30%. Okay. And then we have broken armor damage immunity. Broken armor.
So broken armor, much like force, is the increased damage on top of your regular attack, your crit, your critical hit. It caps out at 100% for PvE, but it doesn't cap out for PvP. The reason it caps out for PvE is because in game modes like xwar, the heroes don't have any damage immune, which is the counter to broken armor. So in obviously PvP, people do have damage immune, so broken armor doesn't really have a cap. And the later in the game you get, the higher the cap, like the theoretical cap would be, because the later in the game you get, the more damage immune people have, so the more broken armor you can have. Damage immune itself, which is the counter to broken armor, it reduces damage, so it has a cap, an unimpeded cap of somewhere between 70 and 75%. So even if the other person has no broken armor, you would have a cap of 75%, which means you couldn't get rid of all the damage pretty much. You can't ever at any point have it so the opponent doesn't do any damage whatsoever. In PvE, obviously 75% or 70% is the cap because they don't have broken armor, whereas in PvP it's higher because it's 70 to 75% higher than whatever your opponent's broken armor is.
So broken armor will add more damage to the attacks, and damage
Yes.
immunity is only to reduce. Is it to reduce the total damage, including the damage, the addition from broken armor, or only the damage addition from broken armor?
Both.
So it will function for both the normal attack or the original attack amount, the damage, plus the broken armor added to it. So it will work on both. Okay.
Yeah, that's right.
And fantastic. Also in a previous stream, one of my solos, I got a question of the force and the force resistance. Do you have any info?
Yes.
What is the force and what is the force resistance?
So I know no one has really worked out a specific formula yet, but basically it's just added damage. So there's what you would do in damage, and then they add that percentage on top. I know that they haven't, of the players, because customer service is never going to tell us, of the players, I don't think they've worked out exactly how it's calculated yet, whether it's based on top of crit and on top of broken armor, or whether it's based before they're added and they're added on top. I know that hasn't been calculated, but basically force is just increased damage and force resist is decreased damage. So if your force is higher than the force res, the damage will appear blue. Like the letters, the numbers, they'll appear blue. Whereas if the resist is higher than the force, they're just going to appear like they used to back before force existed, with white and orange.
Yeah, I do remember I had the coloring of text in battling before, where it looked bluish when you're actually in xwar or battling. So that's one of the reasons. And then it removed itself and went back to the normal coloration. I guess because both are equal now, nothing is showing. So I guess force, you get the blue color, blue text and damage?
Yeah. So it's basically the same way as broken armor and damage immune work, where broken armor adds damage, whereas damage immune takes it away. So if broken armor is higher than damage immune, it's increasing the base damage, whereas if damage immune is higher than broken armor, it's decreasing the damage.
Yeah, it does make sense. One can help increase the damage, one can help and reduce the damage, and how many damage can you do? Yeah. Okay, I guess one point I would add related to the force and force resistance to complete the point that you're talking about. Force attributes, force and force resistance actually come from the reincarnation treasury. Right, there is actually a new addition in the reincarnation treasure. Okay.
That there is the crit damage one.
Yep, the creation. A forging pointing system where the more you summon, you get some points, and then when you have 1000 forge points, you can exchange it for a creation treasure. This will actually help players who do not come out as the top 100 minimum to actually get more creation, treasure directly. It doesn't show any methodol, so it's going to be the treasure directly.
Which is great. It's going to help bridge part of the gap between free-to-play and play-to-win. I say that while they released double artifacts. But yeah, that's the aim of that.
Of course, because if you're mentioning that the force and force resistance, one have to increase your damage output, and the other to reduce the damage that you can take, pretty much any person, any player who has too much of creation methodol, and then he did the advance and enhance and all the beautiful things, he will gain a large amount of damage ability for all his heroes, right?
Yeah, pretty much.